Hey there, and thanks for joining us on GamePoints, our weekly get-together where we talk about the previous week's end news. I am, as always, your host, Stephen Brown. Joining me today are Sean Brown and David Smith. Say hey, guys.
Hello.
Gentlemen, how was your weekend?
Pretty swell.
Good.
Did you just throw another peace sign like all day?
No,
dude,
that's
V.
the V. That's the V has come too, son.
Please come too.
For those who are watching us on YouTube at a later date, it is currently 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is where we stream live at Twitch TV/GamePoints if you ever want to watch us live. But because of that, in 1 hour, roughly, Metal Gear Solid 5 drops. So this show will stop immediately at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Because we're going to go play that.
Yeah, you guys can all fuck yourselves.
If you all didn't know, if you're watching at home, I went to PAX over the weekend. I am
you're
very
dick.
tired from it because I literally stepped off a flight 3 hours ago, came back, prepped for the show, and here we are. Any of you two have any questions about what was going on there?
Fuck, dude, what was good? Did you play Dark Souls 3?
Briefly, very, very briefly. I had an appointment I had to get to, and I worked in a couple other things.
How was that 3-hour line?
Well, funny you should say that. You see, I went as a representative of media, and as such, lines were not a problem for me.
Did you harass Will Wheaton?
I didn't see Will Wheaton.
What about Felicia Day?
Didn't see Felicia Day.
He did do PAX things.
What did you even do?
That's part of the PAX goals. You got to harass them.
I understand that. Here's the thing. I didn't go to PAX as an attendee. I went there out for a business trip for GameCritics.com. So a lot of what I was working on was actually assigned to me already.
But did you get drunk
Yes.
before the day
Yes.
began?
If you would have said no to that, I've been like, you don't deserve to go to cons.
Yeah, dude.
No, I did not get drunk before the day began. I got drunk after the day began twice. Not
most
fall
suspicious
down,
friends?
tip over drunk, but drunk enough. What did I see that was
Drunk
cool?
enough.
Oh, you remember how
Party.
down I was on Homefront: The Revolution?
Yes.
Turns out that game is nowhere near as bad as it looked at E3.
I thought you were going to go. Turns out I was right.
Please
Yeah,
tell me
no,
that shit looks
That's good.
Please
Yeah,
tell me
I
there's
gotta-
anything.
I got a hold of it. It plays like Far Cry 3.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
really?
I know. It's not a massive open world like Far Cry 3. It's broken up into smaller maps, but the core gameplay is Far Cry 3-ish. I can't sum it up any more
That's cool.
better than that, so I'm very excited
But does
about
it
that.
still feel like fucking Red Dawn Korea Edition?
Yeah.
Because that's all I want. I want Red Dawn Korea Edition too.
Yeah, no, this Homefront is nowhere near as bad as I thought it would. It's going to be Star Mazer. Remember Star Mazer?
Yeah,
Yes,
dude.
we do
Looks like
remember
dude
Star
coming
Mazer.
on the show.
Well, there's a
shit
reason
fucking
why he can't
dope.
come on the show anymore, because I was talking to him and he remembered who I was. Turns out the reason why they can't come on the show is because they got picked up by Adult Swim Games.
What
the fuck?
That seems like a thing they would do.
Yeah, the Adult Swim Games picked up Star Mazer, so they have an actual publisher and can't just randomly do press interviews or anything more like they were going to.
Well,
Damn
Adult Swim's pretty
So
cool.
that's why I haven't heard from
So
them.
we totally missed that opportunity.
Well, I mean, let me just go down to Adult Swim. It's right around the corner. Actually, it really is. Kind of. 3-hour drive.
Battleborn looked a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I had no interest in the game until I finally got a hands on it, and that's excellent now. I'm sold on Battleborn. It's easy.
No,
to
how
just-
did that feel? Because I played that game at the PAX before, and I fucking did not care for it. Like it didn't feel good. I mean, that game has kind of a big market going right now. Like there's a lot of people that are excited for it, but at least the version I played felt like
Did
shit.
you play multiplayer or single player?
It was just multiplayer.
Okay, the demo that I got a hold of was single player. They had a behind closed doors demo for me, and five player co-op. It played a lot like Borderlands, but the characters felt more like MOBA heroes, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
I played a dapper ass clockwork butler who had a pistol sniper rifle.
Nice.
Was it like set skills that had cooldowns?
Yes,
Like 4 or 5 of them?
yes, and every
Gotcha.
level you can pick like 1 or 2 traits to level up.
I
Like
gotcha.
reduce cooldown or increase damage and stuff like that.
It's all about them multiplayer team shooters, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely felt like a MOBA first-person shooter, as did Gigantic, which I didn't get my hands on, but looked
Gigantic
really
is fun
cool.
as shit. I can tell you from the facts before that game. I'm actually really excited for Gigantic.
That looked great. Dreadnought looked fantastic. I played Dreadnought a little
Oh my
bit.
God.
That game is just a blast.
Somewhere Alex fainted from too much blood rush to his dick.
What
Did
else?
you feel like Han Solo?
What? Oh, Hard West. Take a look at Hard West. It is XCOM meets Cthulhu set in the Wild West.
I'm hard north right now.
Zing.
So there's that. Also, take a look at Enter the Gungeon if you like roguelikes. Both of those are from Devolver Digital, by the way.
Oh,
so,
dude, I'm gay for Devolver Digital.
Well, Hard West isn't from Devolver Digital. It's from GameBicious, but GameBicious is spawned off of Devolver Digital, so it's the same people, essentially.
Son of Devolver from Devolver Digital.
Son of Devolver.
Yes.
Fork Parker's illegitimate love child. Others, I mean, it's PAX. You see a whole bunch of stuff. This is just stuff that's coming to the top of my head. However, go ahead.
I'm going to ask you this question. Because this happens at every con. What was something you really didn't know anything about and saw, and you're like, I'm impressed by this?
Battleborn. I only heard it by name. I didn't know anything about it. And I saw it and I was like, damn, this is kind of impressive. If you were talking about something that just kind of came out of nowhere and I didn't know anything about, there is a game called Masquerada. And it's an indie game. It kind of looks, it has like the same art style as the Banner Saga. By the way, Banner Saga 2 looks fantastic. It has like that same art style, and you control 3 people at once. It plays like a Diablo-esque game. It has that same 3/4 isometric look to it. And they also kind of control like MOBA heroes. They have like 3 or 4 set skills with long cooldowns. But you control all of them at once, so you have to like pause, plan out, and then unpause. And it's, I mean, I wish I could describe it better than I can. It's a Venetian-style clockwork-like setting. It's all fully voiced. It has a conspiracy plot going on. Looked really cool. I would say that would probably be the just out-of-nowhere surprise.
What was Masquerada, you said?
Masquerada, I think it's subtitled like a Song in Shadow or something like that.
Okay.
As far as like interesting sites, not as many cosplayers, far more relaxed than Comic-Con was. This is the first time I've ever been to PAX. I could actually move around on the floor, which is nice. I did take one picture, however, and it was of the most egregious thing I saw of PAX. Why don't you guys try to guess what it is?
Wait. Okay, so we have to have a debate. Did he meet someone famous that he hates?
I met someone famous that the show may or may not hate, depending on what game he's released at what time.
So it's the Paul W.S. Anderson of video games.
I randomly had like a 5-minute conversation with Randy Pitchford on the side corner of the street.
What was he doing? Begging for money?
Him and his wife were going out to dinner, so I didn't want to like hold him up. But we just talked real quick about a Battleborn.
Did you call him Rando?
No. I called him Mr. Pitchford. Anyone who makes that money is Mr. Pitchford.
Fuck that. Hey, Randy!
Randy!
No, he was a cool guy. I essentially told him, hey, listen, I love some of your games. I hate others, but you know what? That doesn't mean I'm going to tell you to go die in a fire.
That's nice of you.
And he was actually very receptive to that, oddly enough.
He was very receptive to not being told to die in a fire.
Yes.
Steven's leaving out the part where he was super drunk. He's like, hey, bro.
That was after I was coming back from the bar.
I like you,
so
but...
it could have been far more
but I like
belligerent
bro.
than it sounded like. Either way, he was all smiles about it, and he seems like a nice guy. But no, the thing that I found most egregious at PAX is this right here. Let me bring it up. Now, I don't know if you can see that right now, if you're watching the stream live. But if you two are seeing it, it's the Ubisoft pre-order store, powered by Amazon.
Oh, yeah.
The fucking shit.
Now there's a store for pre-orders?
Yeah, it was right next to all the Ubisoft stuff. It was between For Honor and The Division, and it just was standing there.
Don't For Honor.
Pre-order.
Can't come in or come on.
And speaking of don't pre-orders, I don't have any links or anything for it because I just learned about this not all that long ago. Deus Ex is Squaresoft is doing some really shady shit with Deus Ex, by the way, involving those who pre-order it. If they hit a certain number of pre-orders, will get the game 4 days early. A lot of critics are upset with that. They say it's cheating the fans out of stuff, but I don't.
Well,
they're being
think
far
of it this
more
way.
belligerent than I would about it, but still don't pre-order it.
We've been getting mad about pre-orders for a while, and for a long time they've just been offering kind of bullshitty things that you can easily achieve still on day 1, day 2, day 83 of the game's release.
In addition, they tend to break the game, by the way.
Yes, but the main thing here is that they're actually giving some kind of incentive, because, I mean, if you're thinking Deus Ex, probably just going to be a single-player game, but if other people pick that up, especially with Ubisoft and some of the other titles they have, think of, like, multiplayer games. You're getting in there and just playing before everybody else. I mean, people get pissed about that kind of shit, but it's something.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel on it. I mean, the mantra still is don't pre-order anything, though. I think people are kind of far more upset at this than they should be. It feels kind of forced. But anyways, that's enough for my PAX experience. We're going to move on right to the news of the week. And first thing we're going to start off with is that Cliff Bleszinski announced his new game, and it's called Lawbreakers. If you remember last week, we reported that they were going to announce it soon. It was at like the shattering.com. Well,
oh yeah,
they announced what it is. Like I said, Lawbreakers. It's going to be a free-to-play first-person hero arena shooter, much like Battleborn. These seem to be a big thing all of a sudden. They've partnered up with the Nexion, which is that big. I think it's a Korean free-to-play company. I'm not positive on that, but they do a bunch of the. I want to say they do a bunch of like the Facebook games. I could be wrong on that. I could be dead wrong on that. Don't quote me on that. It looks really fast, really frantic. I definitely want to give it a shot. Cliff Bleszinski knows how to make maybe not necessarily a very deep narrative game, but a game that definitely controls very, very well. Like, gameplay is first in his book.
Well, the funny thing is that it's kind of a weird thing that this game is jumping into a genre that's kind of really popular right now, but none of the games are out for it. Because if you look at it, it's that team-based multiplayer shooter, which is in the same vein as like Team Fortress.
There's
it that way.
Battleborn, there's Team Fortress, there's Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
The hero shooters is, I believe,
hero
the term
shooters
getting tossed around.
But there's none of them out yet, really.
No, they've all been announced. It's kind of like that one time, that awkward phase in movies when they had both Armageddon and Deep Impact coming at the same time, and then they followed that up with Dante's Peak and Inferno.
Volcano.
Yeah.
Or Volcano, yeah.
Like, this stuff's announced, and they're like, hey, you know what? That's a market, because since MOBAs took off just so huge, I think people are looking for that next thing. Because, I mean, if you look at MOBAs, they're just totally saturated, because League is kind of just ahead of everybody else. So people are kind of looking for their own way to get into an industry that has a lot of growth potential.
And that's always what will happen. Go ahead, Sean.
Team Fortress kind of did this, but like no one could cash in. And then like Shadowrun on the Xbox tried to cash in on it, and like it was just a terrible game.
Yeah.
Overall.
Now, when you say no one can cash in, you mean no one can cash in. That's not the people who started it, because Valve makes
a
ton of money off Team Fortress.
Well, that's
I meant like cash in on TF2.
Right.
Like I said, TF2 did this, and like, but like no one can cash in on that. Like
I just wanted to clarify. I knew what you meant, but in case you're watching, I just wanted to clarify.
But it's a new enough genre that people, like bigger companies, are now throwing money at it. Because there's a lot of little clone shooters like TF2 that you can find by fucking every third company, but
this is kind of like how everyone and their mom had a MMO coming out after Warcraft hit real big for like 3 years to 5 years there, like just new MMO announcement every third week. It's very similar to that right now. Like I said, we named just 3 off the top of our head: Battleborn, Overwatch, this, and those are big companies doing it. This one is going to be free to play though, so it sounds like they really are going to try to hit that League of Legends style.
Well, do we know if Overwatch is going to be free to play?
I'm almost positive it is.
Yeah, I just kind of assumed that
I can't say it's going to be, but I'm positive it is.
It's coming out on Battle.net. My Battle.net currently lets me play Hearthstone and Heroes for, free.
I would be surprised if Blizzard makes something not called StarCraft or Warcraft that isn't free to play at this point.
Yeah.
Diablo.
That's fair.
I would not be surprised if Diablo went totally free to play in the next iteration. At all.
Cool.
The hell was that?
He's getting off on that.
Thank you, Matter, by the way, in chat. Says, we are awesome and a blessing to this world. I appreciate it. I think you might be a little bit overestimating our abilities, but I'll take the compliment.
Underestimating, really.
We're going to go ahead and move on to the next topic here, and that is the fact that Divinity Original Sin 2 was Kickstarted and reached its goal in less than 12 hours. It is currently sitting at over $1 million on Kickstarter.
Eastbound down.
You said that so wrong. $1 million. Anyway, Divinity, huge deal. You don't even get to talk about it. You never even played this game.
See,
this is the me and Sean
I'll
show.
let you finish
suck.
this up, but remind me about that when we talk about this, because I actually have a story involving you at PAX.
Fancy. So, damn it. Divinity 2 is building a lot on the enhanced edition of Original Sin. So they're building on that engine. This game looks badass, and there was one main feature that caught my eye. So, I mean, obviously it's going to be bigger, more story, more world, more spells, more monsters, yada, yada. But the game is now 4-player co-op.
Yes.
And the most important thing about that to me is that it's not all simultaneous co-op. So it's not you and your buddy being stuck on this storyline together, and you guys always have to be a screen apart. No, the game will branch based on your character, based on your character's backstory. Because this is the thing about Divinity that I didn't tell you before. You actually pick the history for your character, and it develops the way his
very
personality
similar to the intro to Dragon Age Origins was.
Except for it goes the whole damn game.
Yes.
So this game, they showed an example of a group of party, like a whole bunch of people trying to get into this town. Most of the people got in just fine, but the town happened to hate dwarves. One party member was a dwarf. They wouldn't let him in the town. He had to go find his own way. And since they're building the narrative this way, where the players can actually split apart and form their own kind of paths and parties, it makes it feel a lot more like a D&D campaign, which I think I told you was already what made me really excited about the old game. And the fact that it can just switch back and forth between a PvE and PvP game. Like, you can be cooperative or competitive just based on your character's choices in the storyline.
I want to take a look at that. That sounds interesting. I want to take this time to give a shout out to Church 121. Appreciate you joining us in chat. Hope you like the show. Anyways, my story about Divinity Original Sin 2. I was assigned to check out their booth at PAX. And while I was there talking with them, some dude from Larian Studios, I forget his name, I apologize, came up to me and he was like, hey, have you played the first one? I'm like, no, I haven't played it yet, but one of my co-hosts on my podcast keeps hammering about it over and over and over again. He's like, okay, hold on, I'm going to make him happy. So he disappears and comes back and just gives me a free code to finally play it. So I have Divinity now, courtesy of Larian Studios themselves, all because of you, David.
You should have said me and my other co-hosts don't have it, but one of them does, and got 2 keys. Dick.
So
they
deliberately gave me that to make you happy.
You should have got his phone number and called him and be like, hey, you guys want to even review that second one when it comes out? Oh, play through and the whole big thing. It'll be great.
We'll definitely see how that goes. I was passing out business cards like
he's
candy.
Watching.
But yeah, Divinity Original Sin 2, they actually had it running there. It looks excellent. I am very excited to actually play it. I'm going to be playing through Divinity Original Sin 1 the moment I am finished with Metal Gear Solid 5.
I was going to say, there's kind of a big thing that's happening very soon. With that.
Let me clarify that real quick. Like I said, after Metal Gear Solid 5. So yes, go on them, funded in 12 hours, and they've already doubled their funding less than a week into it. So.
Oh yeah, and there's still time.
There. Oh, there's 29 days left.
Minor problem, as much as I'm excited for this game, and I'm probably going to buy it day one, still don't know how I feel about the Kickstarter thing, because it's pre-ordering, and I hate pre-ordering.
Yeah, I mean, it's pre-ordering on crack.
Yeah.
Because you don't even have a promise that project is going to come to fruition.
Yeah, at least with a pre-order, you get a game most of the time.
Yeah, you can always cancel it if you did it through Steam or GameStop. But Kickstarter is, you're putting your faith into a company, and you're hoping to God it doesn't fold.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of believe in these guys now, not just after the success of the first one, but still something to be hesitant about. Like, don't go overboard with Kickstarters.
Well, when Kickstarter first came out, my stance on it was don't trust anyone unless it's someone who has a big name in the industry, because that's their reputation on the line.
Backfired on your ass.
And then 2 big things happened. One was Goddess, and Peter Molyneux fucked the kid who won the Curiosity game, as well as everyone else who's pre-ordered Goddess. So they've essentially taken everyone off of that. And the other one is fucking Tim Schafer, who can't manage money to save his life and is so inept at managing money, he had to have a Kickstarter for his Kickstarter. That would be Broken Age. He was like, I'm going to make this game. Oh, by the way, we're out of money, so if you want Broken Age Part 2, fund this Kickstarter as well. Fuck you.
Ridiculous.
Go fund yourself.
That's all bad. Divinity Original 2 is good, but we're going to keep on the bad topic right now. Is the fact that while I was at the Firaxis panel, they dropped this shit on me. XCOM 2 is delayed.
Oh, and it's not just delayed.
It's
that shit's coming out in February.
Yeah, that's next year. Not a couple weeks. It's been delayed 3 months.
3 months.
I am so
that is
pissed
so
off.
harsh.
I knew this was going to happen, though. I didn't say anything about it. I should have, because I would sound like a fucking genius. But after a while, when they kept going, yeah, it's coming in November. It's coming in November. It's like, okay, cool. What date in November? Don't worry, it's November. That's never a good sign when they don't date it and it's like 2 months away.
Although, to be fair, in their defense, there's a lot of shit coming out this holiday season.
That could have been what it was.
It's just kind of one of those things that happens every year. You know, when the holiday season starts to get really full.
The game gets delayed.
Not fully AAA titles, but titles that are still expected to do fairly well will get pushed into, spring.
Exactly. And what I get the feeling that happened is this game, for the most part, will be done by November. But I get the feeling the reason why they didn't announce a release date is because marketing was like, well, we need to analyze to see if it's a good idea to release this in November. And they do the buzz thing, and they can monitor people's excitement for it. And while XCOM fans might be really excited for it, they might have realized might be crossing over with Fallout fans because they both tend to be PC heavy. And this is a marketing decision. This isn't a gameplay decision. I'm sure that they can take the time to polish it up. But that's why they weren't given a release date, and that's why no one of us should be really surprised.
Maybe when it comes out, we'll be able to shoot aliens, and they won't just fly off into space for no reason.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, XCOM 2 delayed. At least it gives us time to play Fallout 4 some. Very, very disappointing. And they dropped that on me in the panel. I was like, son of a...
You're sitting there mad.
I was mad. I was pissed off.
At least you were at a panel, man. I was on a chair.
Yeah, good seats at all the panels, too. Do either of you two play Guild Wars?
No.
I played that first one.
You played the first one. Have you played the second one at all?
Well, I played the first one.
Okay,
So no.
fair enough.
No.
Just checking to make sure. Well, if
Now,
you ever
I like the concept of Guild Wars and the fact that it's an MMO you buy that one time and then you have it instead of paying all the time for it.
Right. Well, if you haven't played it yet and you always wanted to, you can. It's going free, kind of. Essentially, the base game is going free. It's free right now, actually. If you haven't played it, you can download the base game right now with some caveats. If you want the expansion, that's what they're going to charge you. That's Heart of Thrones expansion for $50. It could be cheaper if you're already on the game. I need to actually take a look at that. I'm not positive.
I was going to say, anyone who's playing that game already is not going to be happy for a $50 expansion.
No, I get the feeling that it might be cheaper, but don't quote me on that. We'll have to take a look. But yeah, kind of, it's... Imagine like a trial account on WoW, but it's a little bit different because it's the full game. You're not capped at a level. You can play it all the way up to whatever the non-expansion content is. And it does have some caveats. One, you start with fewer character slots and bag slots. Okay, whatever. It's still free. Two, you have some chat restrictions and some economy restrictions, so you can't just gold farm with it.
Yeah, that's kind of standard for free accounts for games, though.
But their chat restrictions aren't actually that bad. The only thing, you can still use local chat and whispers, so you can still whisper people, but you just can't use map chat.
Cool.
Whatever.
You can still get a hold of people. And third, you can't. There's a bunch of ways that let you skip ahead, like boosters and stuff and levels. You can't use any of that. They cap how fast you can progress. So, for example, you can't leave the starter zones until you're level 10. You can't use looking for group until you're level 30. You can't go into World versus World until you're 60, and you can't play PvP immediately. Or you can play PvP immediately, but you have to get to rank 20 before you can start using the custom and unranked arenas. Essentially, you have to show a commitment to the game to be able to get into the good stuff. More things to keep the gold spammers away. And they all seem quite reasonable.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Although it's kind of funny because if you think how many MMOs have come out in the last few years that had to switch to free-to-play just to stay relevant.
Yeah.
Because so many games wanted to follow the WoW subscription tactic, and it hasn't worked for anybody.
No.
Guild
Knights
Wars
of the
is the one
Republic's
game
the
that's
big one
different.
that comes to mind.
Well, I'm thinking Guild Wars is the one that's different, right? You pay, what, $40 for the game up front, and then you own it. It's yours forever.
Yep. You can use the
Even
gem store, and they've always been like that.
Even that has to switch to a free-to-play market. So, kind of weird.
Yeah.
The end of MMOs, more or less, in my opinion. But
Final Fantasy 14 is doing really well, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, as far as the sub-based MMOs, I would say Final Fantasy 14, and I'm going to throw EVE out there, even though it's kind of weird. EVE is subscription-based, but that is its own niche and its own thing to begin with. Yeah, if you suck, you pay for EVE.
Well, that's how WoW is now. I haven't paid for WoW the last 3 months I've played it.
Nice. I always enjoyed Guild Wars 2. It's a super, super fucking casual MMO, which is great for me because I don't have time to go every Friday night's raid night. Not that Guild Wars 2 has raids, but I never really had the time to devote to a regular schedule to it.
Well, hey, it does now. That's what the X-Pack's for.
Yeah, the expansion will have raids on it, but still super casual either way. I don't think they're increasing the level cap or anything like that, so I'm fine with it. I like it. It gets my MMO fix out of the way, and I really enjoy it. What about Church 121 asks, what about Sega hating NA?
Now, I'm assuming...
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about, unfortunately.
Both of you shut up. I'm going to assume that you're talking about North America and Phantasy Star Online 2. And if that's what you're talking about, I'm fucking pissed at Sega. Because if that game was available in the US in English, I would be playing the shit out of it all the time.
Yeah, but who else?
Fucking hate Sega about this.
Thomas,
besides you and Church 121 and Thomas, who else would be playing that?
Like, that game is announced for PS4, all in Japanese. There's no intended release dates in the US. There's guys that translated the whole game. You can play it on like weird proxy servers, but it's just...
So, David, what you're telling me is you're slacking and you just need to learn Japanese.
Yeah, I guess. But that sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, it reeks of
Don't be a
effort.
bitch.
Okay, we're going to jump topics quite dramatically here. How many of you guys remember that gritty-ass Power Rangers remake that came out on YouTube? The Power/Ranger, or whatever it was.
Yeah, dude. People
That dude
died.
made that thing.
What was that,
People
David?
died at the fair.
That's that thing that guy made. That's the same guy. Now, it's funny because we talk about that one, but I remember more that Dread short that he made.
Yeah, he's long story short, the guy is good at what he does, and he is now making a Castlevania one.
Did he make the
I'm pretty sure he
think
made
he
the
made
Punisher thing.
But
Yeah,
he did
I was about to
make
say the Tom
Mortal
Jane
Kombat
one.
thing.
Yeah, he made the Punisher Dirty Laundry. That's him. Same guy.
Money, dude?
Oh, that is the same guy?
I
Yeah,
felt
that
like
is
that
the
was
same
him.
guy.
That was good. I remember that now. How
It
he
had
just
Tom
puts
Jane and Ron
that-
Perlman in it.
That's right, Tom Jane and Ron Perlman were in that. I just remember that ends with him setting that lighter down and walking away, just to let the people deal with that guy, and they dealt with him. I didn't know that's the same guy. That's awesome. But yeah, in a Facebook page, the gentleman is named Adi Shankar. I apologize for butchering that. But on his Facebook, he essentially claims, breaking news. I am producing a super violent Castlevania miniseries with my homes, Fred Silbert and Kevin Klonde. It's going to be dark, satirical, and after a decade of propaganda, it will flip the vampire subgenre on its head. I can only assume that means he's talking about the sparkliness of Twilight. I am down to see a gritty-ass Castlevania remake.
Yeah, dude.
It's not going to be called
after the stuff this
Castlevania.
guy's made, I'm gonna be down for this.
It's not going to be called Castlevania, and it's going to be like Dr. Dracula instead of Dracula, I'm sure, to keep Konami from coming after him.
Dr. Dracula.
Dude, no. How do you say Castlevania backwards? Because that's what it's gonna be.
Yeah, Anivia T-Sack.
Yeah, dude. T-Sack.
Lesac. So yeah, this looks could be good.
And the
like I
bad
said,
guy's
it's
just
going
called Dracula.
Well, Dracula's public domain. You can't copyright that. But having, like, say, Trevor Belmont, it's going to be like Tyler Bowman.
Durden.
Tyler Durden.
Tyler Durden writes LU card.
This guy's super talented. Keep an eye out on that. I'm looking forward to it. It could be very entertaining. And hopefully it doesn't get pulled on YouTube like Power Ranger was.
If it is based on real Castlevania characters, who do you want to see in it, and who do you want, like, who are the protagonists? Who's the anti-hero? Who's the antagonist?
Well, Dracula's going to be the antagonist, right?
I mean, there's different types of Dracula, though. There's the newer one where you play like he's an actual Belmont that turns into a vampire. There's the Sona one from the DS series, or there's just Dracula.
I just want him to give me Symphony of the Night, the miniseries.
That's what I
want. That's what I want more than anything, and it makes the most sense as far as the narrative goes. Okay, we're going to potentially bite the hand that feeds us here a little bit.
I love Nine Inch Nails.
With the advent of YouTube gaming and Hitbox and a lot of the other streaming services come up, people started taking a closer look at their terms of service through Twitch. And it turns out that if you're partnered through them, there's a good chance that you really can't stream on these other services because Twitch won't let you. It's part of the partner contract. Now, in an article from VentureBeat, which we have right here, its headlines, Twitch's partner contracts will keep most live streamers from also using YouTube gaming. Essentially, you sign on a dotted line, and it says it has an exclusivity clause, according to iJevon here. Twitch only. Now, I don't know if they can really get away with this. It might fall under something known as restraint of trade in America, and Twitch is an American-based company. However, this is slightly different than restraint of trade. I get the feeling that with the rise of YouTube gaming and Hitbox, and what was the other one? There's another big one. I can't remember. But yeah, there's a third one whose name I'm forgetting at the moment. I get the feeling with the rise of all these competing streaming services coming up, there is going to be a lawsuit over this somewhere.
Either that, or Twitch has been playing the long con the whole time. They knew this shit was coming, and they built their contract in such a way that if you're partnered with Twitch, you're partnered with Twitch.
Could be. Like I said, there are some weird...
Well, I mean, Twitch has some decent money behind it, and a lot of times when there's decent money, there's decent lawyers.
Yeah, but you're going up against YouTube Gaming, and YouTube Gaming might step in on the behalf of people who are partnered with Twitch.
Yeah, we'll see.
So we'll see. I think in the end of the day that it's all technically legal. Like I said, I'm not quite too sure where that restraint of trade clause comes in. But I just don't know it well enough.
Now, what if you stream with a different name while wearing a mustache?
See, that's the caveat. I don't know if you can just stream with a different name or what. Sean, go ahead.
Because the way, like, say the NFL works is, one, they usually own, like, your likeness in contracts. That's why they can use it in Madden, stuff like that or whatever, because they actually license it out. So, like, the camera thing might be another issue. But two, like, they have it so, like, you can't play in any other sports leagues. Like, basically, a lot of players are drafted in multiple leagues, like baseball, football, and whatnot. And their contracts say you can only play in the NFL. So I see that as kind of the same thing. You're playing in our league, you cannot play in their league.
Yeah, it could be.
It's got to be following.
Look at it.
There's got to be some kind of rule set these contracts are following the same way. So I'm assuming it's based on precedent of sports, like professional sports.
But the strange thing is since it's not even necessarily esports related, but we're just talking about, live game streaming, it's a new market, more or less. There's not a whole lot of legislation that's currently in place for this stuff, so we'll kind of see how it develops as this goes on. So.
We're at that point where our technology is far outpacing the rate at which you can produce laws for it. It happens every now and then in history, so there's a lot of weird, undiscovered territory here. Things like, that's why the Digital Millennium Copyright Act is so fucking out of date already this far into it, because we've advanced so far since that was written not 15 years ago.
Resonance brings up a good point, because there's the whole Colbert effect, where his personality was actually what was under contract with Comedy Central for a really long time.
Not he himself, yeah.
So
I mean, we'll see how it goes. I can definitely, I don't even know. I was about to say something, but now that I think about it, maybe that's not true. I have no idea. It's definitely going to be a very weird legal sticky widget. In addition, to make things even more complicated, not everyone has the same Twitch contract, apparently. Because some of the older streamers are like, yeah, we've gone through our contracts. There are no exclusivity clauses in here at all.
Yeah.
And that might bring up discrimination bullshit, depending on how cocky someone feels.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Twitch is having a lot of problems right now, especially with the whole spectate faker thing, if you guys know anything about this.
No. While we're on the topic, go ahead and...
So basically what's happening is someone is streaming... professional games by players and their solo queue games, because you can spectate games, and Twitch banned him, but they used it for, I can't remember the exact reason was, but basically the game is public domain and they have no right of banning him for showing other people's games, because they're saying it's basically breach of private matchings or some crap like that. The wording was really weird, but he's actually getting unbanned because he's right. Because it's public domain.
If it's something that anyone can come in and look at. Yeah, if it's anyone that someone can come in and look at, and it's just out in the open, that's not private.
Yeah, well, it's public domain. They Riot owns the game, so if you're playing on their server, you don't own the character. That's why selling characters in World of Warcraft is illegal. You're playing the game as a character that company owns.
Yeah, what's funny is domain shit right now is getting so weird. I was reading an article in fucking Kotaku of all places, where they had uploaded a level from the new Mario Maker, and their level actually got flagged by YouTube. But the funny part is the flag didn't come from Nintendo, because it was a user created content. The flag came from Playboy, because they had uploaded a clip of the same level the day before, or the same day even. But since they have the bigger name behind them, YouTube saw that there was a repeat clip and flagged their thing. Yeah, it's fucking weird.
Copyright infringement is going to come to a head very soon over the next 5 years as this shit starts getting more and more.
Because at this point, it's just weird. It doesn't even make any sense.
Eventually, it went out to open openness, because like one of the big things that I can kind of think of, not in the same realm, but kind of the same consequences, was it's another sports thing. They used to not allow venues to have product placement on them. Like, so what would happen was the owner of the Cardinals, Bush, got mad that the Cubs owner, Wrigley, was able to name the stadium Wrigley Field because he's the owner of Wrigley Chew Bubblegum, but it's his last name. So Bush was like, fuck it, I'm going to make a brand of beer called Bush Beer. So
like we're talking like way back in like the early 1900s here and shit.
Yes. So now they're like, fuck it, like this is getting way out of hand. Just you can put product placement on there. Like you're not going to have to just make a new product named after you so you can do this. We'll just allow you to do it.
This shit's also kind of nuts too because it's all automated bots flagging this shit left and right. I've seen Sony flag themselves on video they themselves have put out. Nintendo has flagged us multiple times on public trailers they disseminate for shows like us to show their shit.
That's my favorite part.
This is a great opportunity for jobs.
Last week, Konami, we showed like a 20-second bit of a publicly disseminated trailer on YouTube for Metal Gear Solid 5. Konami tried to monetize this video. I have since put a dispute on there, but it's like, son of a bitch, you people put this trailer out for the press to use. I got it from your fucking press site. Not the open here, download this trailer, whatever, or watch this on YouTube. But they actually have a fucking press site that you have to have credentials and log in onto, and you can download from there. That is where the trailer came from.
Even if it was like, and we don't make dimes anyway, so like even if it was, it's like,
well, I take
we're giving you free press.
With Konami monetizing my shit because that means they're making money off of us, and fuck that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fuck Konami.
Yeah.
Again, we've already talked about the fact that today is probably the last day any of us are going to spend money on Konami.
Yeah, flat
but
out.
We're all going to do it because fucking Metal Gear.
Already done.
But yeah,
actually,
I really didn't expect this topic to kind of take off like it did, but sure as hell did. Yeah, lots of reasons to be mad. And you know what else you want to be mad about? Warner Brothers, because they're back to it again.
Oh, yeah. Warner Brothers, the company that we have managed to hate on for, what is this, 6 weeks straight.
25 years.
David,
fucking Warner Brothers. So we've been mad about...
Go ahead and break down what we got.
About Batman for a long time. And for one time, I'm actually not mad about Batman. Mortal Kombat 10, a game we bitched out fucking forever ago, was slated to have PS3 and 360 versions come out. People pre-order it. People are excited about playing it on the older consoles. Warner Brothers has gone on to say that they are no longer releasing Mortal Kombat 10 for the PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 game consoles.
After weeks of saying it's coming, and they just out of the blue said that. In fact, a post on their community forums from their official community manager guy, let me bring up here. Here we go. After months of development, Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment has come to the regrettable conclusion that we cannot release Mortal Kombat 10 for the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. I'm going to stop right here. How did you not come to this conclusion like months and months and months ago?
Right? Mortal Kombat 10 came out for fucking ever ago.
Yeah, exactly. I don't get how they couldn't have come to that conclusion well before they announced it. Going on. Please know that our teams worked diligently to meet the quality standards set by the current gen versions of the game. We were not able to get the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions to the quality expected of a Mortal Kombat game. And are very sorry that we're not able to deliver the products as originally planned. If you pre-ordered Mortal Kombat 10 for PS3 or 360, please go to the retail location where you pre-ordered the game from and you'll receive the full refund. Blah, 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 blah. How did you not know that you can't make this work for the PlayStation 3 360 months ago?
Oh, because there's a really easy explanation. Because they don't care.
People kept pre-ordering it. They kept giving them money, and Warner Bros. Was like, yeah, whatever. How many people have pre-ordered it and are never going to get a refund from it, who just completely forgot they had a refund? How much money is Warner Brothers just pocketing?
That's the number.
So let's say let's be generous. Let's say 1 million people pre-ordered it. That's very, very generous. Let's say 10% of those people forgot that they pre-ordered it. That's what, 100,000, right? I know numbers are hard to listen to without a chart and anything like that. Bear with me. So you have 100,000 people, which is 10% of the people who pre-ordered it. Let's say that they just completely forgot they had it pre-ordered at $5 a pop. Hell, someone might even put full deposits down toward. That right there, assuming the minimum $5 pop pre-order is $500,000, Warner Brothers is pocketing. Now these numbers these numbers are
Totally
arbitrary. But still, that's a nice chunk of change that they just get to pocket. They're going to walk off with.
Like, and it is something to note that if they've released the nice looking version of the game, they might not want to go back and release the crappy version. But they should be able to deliver that information back when this game came out on current gen consoles.
They shouldn't have. Because they
Because
knew it was fucked. Flat out.
Yeah.
Just so tired of talking about Warner Brothers.
I know.
Well, hey.
But the game came out on April 7th. So you think that was 4 months ago. Almost 5 months
WB.
ago. Yeah, and they're just
Stupid racist frog.
dicking around until such a time as they decide they don't want to actually finish making this game. Probably because they have to move the whole department that was making it into fixing fucking Batman.
Which still doesn't have that intern patch like they promised in August, by the way. It is now the last day of August. So unless it comes out in 3 hours and 20 minutes, they fucking broke that promise, didn't they?
Have you ever
Dude,
seen...
I'm not going to play that game because Metal Gear's going to come out. So they missed their window.
Have you ever seen the King of the Hill episode where, like, they put all the kids who are bad at taking tests into, like, special needs class, so they avoided the No Kid Left Behind fellow test? And then, like, they got caught doing it, so they pulled all the other teachers out of, like, the advanced classes and threw them in there to try to, like, teach them shit last minute. I feel like that's what Warner Brothers is doing with Batman. Like, abandon Mortal Kombat, go to Batman. We need this.
We need more people on Batman.
If you're playing on PlayStation 3 and Xbox and you're looking for Mortal Kombat 10, sorry you got screwed. However, if you're still looking for a fighting game, apparently there's something coming that might not be as bad as we thought it was. David, why don't you go ahead and tell us about Pokken Tournament?
Pokken.
I think it's Pokken.
Pokken?
It is Pokken.
Pokken. So basically, Pokemon guys are making a new game called Pokken Tournament, and they're actually partnered with Namco Bandai for this. So we're talking the Tekken Soul Calibur crew, and they're making a fighting game that, while I originally thought was more or less just like a cash in on Pokemon, it's looking like a more and more decent fighter. It's got a bit of a Smash Brothers vibe, which, I mean, you could see that coming. But with the team that's behind it, the fight system is actually developing into something fairly intricate. So there actually may be potential to see this game. Who knows? This could be at EVO next year.
Could be.
It's the kind of thing where it looks a lot more detailed than I thought it was going to. So it's actually kind of interesting. We would love to show you some of this game, but, you know...
Nintendo's run by a bunch of fucking Muppets. The information we do have is coming via VentureBeat. Let me go ahead and bring up the article here so that way they get the credit. Pokken Tournament is more Pokemon-like and skill-intensive than you'd expect. That's Pikachu looking pissed off. This article goes on for quite a while, about the details of it. I'll make sure it's linked at the bottom on there. But yeah, if you like fighting games, this might not necessarily... It sounds like a joke. It sounds like an April Fool's Day thing, but... It could be good.
Well, the other thing is that this actually may be really fun for a lot of the Pokemon fans because you can pick your favorite dude and just start beating the shit out of your friends. Because it's less of, hey, use Thunder Smash, and more of, hey, I'm going to press Thunder Smash and wreck some kids.
I wonder if you can import your Pokemon over with, like, their skills and shit.
Before we move to the next topic, we did have someone ask a question in chat. Church121 asked, when you finish your opinion on a good open world MMORPG. I guess he's asking, or she's asking, whoever it is asking what our opinion on a good MMORPG is. I like Guild Wars. I'm completely happy with it.
I still play World of Warcraft. I have fun with that game. I get it played for free most of the time because I have a retarded amount of gold. So I do enjoy still playing WoW. And I don't think you can top what WoW had as success-wise. So
fair enough. David, you don't do MMOs, correct?
He doesn't do MMOs.
No problem. And Church, it's okay for the typo.
Just
keep in mind when you send it in there, I try to get it fast so I don't necessarily pre-read it, so I'm going to read it as it says in there. So
when you
sorry. Just try to clean it up if you want on live on there, because like I said, I'm just going to read it when it comes up there. I'll try to.
He's not good at translating.
No, not at all. Like Ron Burgundy, I just read what's on. It's like Ron Burgundy, I just read what's in front of me.
Teleprompt. He doesn't even give a shit.
That'll be money?
Oh, no, because we were talking about we were still talking about in chat if Nintendo's was actually run by Muppets and how there should be this totally badass expose where where they got cameras into the board meetings and they're all just Muppets in there. So I had to go ahead and make the point that it's mostly just the Swedish chef naming Pokemon.
Herp to herp.
Jerk to Hernestern.
Squirtle. But anyways,
You're caught up.
let's talk about what we really care about tonight.
Ooh. Are we finally we're gonna bring up the V?
Oh yeah, we're gonna bring up the V. Good. V has come too, but V has some problems.
Microtransactions.
I'm mad about this shit.
Microtransactions.
That
Fucking
douchebag.
microtransactions.
Triumphant return on GameStop. I got this for this came from
GameStop. You shitbag.
You know what we need to do?
Points.
What we have to do,
Not
come and divert
GameStop.
this real quick, is Steven, you need to actually get like a costume, like a mustache and a monocle and a top hat. And so
could
when we
be
talk about
microtransactions.
microtransactions, you wear that real quick.
Anyway,
Like just come off camera and come back on real quick.
it's no secret at this point that Metal Gear Solid 5 is going to have microtransactions in it. We don't
14.
really know what it's going to involve exactly. It's going to deal with the forward operating base stuff, but we don't know how it's going to be earned. We don't know what's going to cost to do anything like that, or we don't really know what's going to be
We don't
used
know
for.
what you're gonna spend your money on, but we do
don't
have
know
an idea.
shit.
We have an idea
Preach.
of how much money you're gonna be spending.
Exactly.
So
in an article
they
from
were-
IGN.
And I was gonna take this from you.
Sorry, go ahead, take it from me. Go lead on.
So-
I just want to make sure that the source we got it from was properly
Yeah.
sourced.
So IGN got this, and it's the actual prices that were revealed for the microtransaction list for Metal Gear Solid 5, and they're in coins basically. Is the way of saying it. So
It's
100
Monopoly
coins
money.
is $1.65. 550 for $7.95, $8. 11.50 for $15.95. Okay, those are kind of standard rates for when you're buying shit. But then it goes up to 3,500 coins for $48.95. Well, isn't that awfully close to the price of the damn game? Oh, but wait, there's another level. 6,000 coins
That
for
shit is ridiculous.
$79.95. Now, more often than not, if there is a price point available for shit like this, for coins or some in-game currency, usually means that there's a piece in the game that you can buy that costs that much. So what the fuck did they put in the multiplayer that's worth $80? I mean, I know the answer is nothing, but what the fuck did they think they put in that's worth $80?
This, well, the good news is I had no interest in doing the FOB online stuff anyways. The bad news is, as we discussed last show, this still affects the fucking game in some way, shape, or form. Something is getting limited. Either your ability to produce crafting items, or the fact that there are going to be quests that drag you off to get some more of this fucking Monopoly money. Either way, even if you're not using the feature that would cost money, you're affected by the way the game is designed to lure you into using that feature.
If you play multiplayer.
Well, no,
No,
the other thing is that this
I'll
is
get back to that in a
just
second,
the FOB mode. Now, the game actually does not release with Metal Gear Online, because they are going to be remaking Metal Gear Online akin to what was released with Metal Gear Solid 4. Now, that doesn't come out with the main game. It's something they're supposed to be releasing later. I don't know if it's a separate title or an add-on expansion, who the fuck knows. But
October for consoles, I believe, and January for PCs, I want to say. I
if
could be wrong on those
that
dates.
game is released in the same vein, then what's to stop them when filling that game, which I think we've discussed this before, Metal Gear Online, phenomenal game. I loved the shit out of that game. What's to stop them from filling that with microtransactions?
It's going to be chock full of them. Discussed Sean's online thing. Even if you're not going online, you really think Konami is not going to have things in the single player itself designed to lure you to buy that stuff? Even if your willpower is high enough to resist them saying, hey, buy this stuff, the fact that it's still in the game does affect your game. It either breaks immersion or they put in mechanics designed to get you to spend money on it. I mean, either way, it is affecting your game, even if you're not using it.
It's really upsetting. I'm remarkably
non-committal
excited for this game. I'm remarkably excited for Metal Gear, but I'm still I hate Konami so much right now.
We can be super excited for something and still criticize a shitty part of it.
I just can't really think right now because it's all the blood that's not in my brain.
It's fair enough. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping things up here. We're going to go ahead and move out of the news into new releases. This week,
Well, what's coming out?
well, Metal Gear Solid 5. That's the big elephant in the room right now.
No, wait, hold on. What's the game that's going to get totally fucked?
Mad Max, which is a fucking shame because I finally got a chance to play that, and it's solid. It's not great. It's not blockbuster status, but it's good, and it's just been sent out to die by Warner Brothers.
It's funny, too.
The line I wanted to get to.
Because George Miller and Hideo Kojima are really good friends. So I find that kind of funny.
David, you're about to say.
Basically, there's that last little point you made, that Mad Max does look cool, does look stylish, but it's actually being released by Warner Brothers, who've been mad at it for a while about a lot of shit they're doing. And this, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily their fault. I'm going to blame it squarely on them. You should not release Mad Max on the same day as Metal Gear Solid 5.
No, not at all. This game would have... I honestly feel that this game would have been fantastic if it would have done like a Dying Light thing and released out in the middle of nowhere with nothing around it, and people were hungry for a game. Dying Light did that. If Dying Light would have released in November, no one would have heard of it. It would have gotten immediately blown out of the water. But they released in a dead period. If this game would have released a month ago, in the middle of July, it could have pulled down some money. And it's a shame
shit, they could have not talked about it and released this game in like April. But I think they were trying to rush it to match the Blu-ray release of Mad Max.
That's exactly what I think happened.
Speaking of which, I know Steven hasn't seen it, but David, have you seen Mad Max Fury Road?
No, I still haven't.
God,
I'm a terrible
damn it,
human
you
being.
guys are fucking up.
I know.
Greatest action movie in the last 25 years. Easy.
I'm just going to buy it on Blu-ray.
Also,
I made a mistake and saw Jurassic World twice.
That is a mistake. It's a decent
That's a good
film,
movie.
but twice? No.
Twice is fucked up.
Also, coming out this week is Active Aggression. Not really going to get blown up by Metal Gear Solid 5. You're targeting two different answers here. Active Aggression is an RTS. Like, think old school RTS with actual bases rather than just a cap of 100 units. Made by the guys who did Active War, which was like 10 years ago, an awesome under-the-radar RTS. I'm looking forward to it. It looks
Decent
cool.
movie.
Didn't it have Wesley Pipes in it?
Wesley Pipes.
Yeah. He's friends with Billy Bonk Thornton.
That's a good one.
I was trying so hard, but god damn it.
All right, but yeah, so new releases, Mad Max, Active Aggression, and nothing else of note. Oh yeah, Metal Gear Solid 5, if you're into that, which, if you're into it, you're going to be... We will be able to audibly hear people shutting off their computers in about 8 minutes. So let's take that 8 minutes and move on to eSports news of the week.
So I'm just going to get started with LCK in Korea real quick.
Go for it.
Because this is the easiest one. SKT played KT in the finals, the Korean finals. SKT just ran house on that KT, which actually kind of shocked a lot of analysts because we haven't seen SKT since 5.14. They've taken a month off because of the way Korea does their Gauntlet-style tournament with the other teams. They just devastated KT. Like, Bangi came out to play with Elise coming back in meta. Faker played Diana in game 2, and he could have 1v5'd the team quite easily if he tried hard enough. Like, if you want to see a series on how KT actually plays the game, they don't team fight. They like constrict you like a anaconda. Like, they just dominate you in lane presence. It was really insane. So this actually brings up in Korea, like the way it kind of formed and put everything in place, was KT need to win to go to Worlds because the winner of the summer final automatically goes. Second place, the second seed is winner of points overall. SKT was leader in the points and they won, so second place in points went, which was Q Tigers. So SKT is number 1 seed with points and summer victory. Q Tigers is the second seed because they were the second in points overall for the year. Third place is going to be determined by a gauntlet system which starts tomorrow. Tomorrow, Jin Air plays Najin. The winner of that game plays CJ. The winner of that game plays Q Tigers. I expect it to be CJ and Q Tigers in the finals, or KT. I expect it to be CJ and KT in the finals. I expect KT to beat them and go to their first World Championship ever, which is really sad, tragic, because KT has always been like the second best team in the world at one point that never went to Worlds. Like the year 2013 when SKT won, KT was by far the next best team after them. They weren't even in that tournament, so I want to see them play.
Oh yeah, and that tournament was rough to watch. Like the actual finals from that year were just so one-sided. It wasn't even fun.
I actually, fun story, I called that bait draft pick. That was money. So, sorry for another time. The NA finals, actually, the Gauntlet tournament happened
This shit
week as
was
well.
so good.
Cloud9 got second place last season when they were still decent. They weren't even that great. North America was just terrible last season. Got a little bit better this season. Cloud9 didn't even make it to the playoffs. Had a terrible year. They squeaked into the Gauntlet tournament by points because they got second place last year.
Yeah, and everyone, for the most part, just wrote these guys off this year.
Well, because they're seventh. They were seventh.
Not only that, but in the first game of the series, the first best of 5 against Gravity, they were down 2-0, came back to win 3-2, beat them. They went on to play TIP, went down 2-0, came back and won 3-2. And then they went into TL, and everyone was like, they have no chance. TL has the best talent in North America.
Team Liquid
beat TL 3-1. Now in Worlds, Cloud9 has not missed a Worlds since they've been in the LCS. So came back clutch. High actually did a really good job in the jungle. I didn't actually get to see the games, but just looking at the stats.
Did I watch some of the shit? It was brutal.
It's just
fucking
hilarious.
Game 1, Sneaky went off on people with Draven. Like, the Draven pick was actually unexpected for the Shoutcasters. It showed up.
What it is every region has their Draven player. China's is Crystal. Korea's is Arrow. North America is Sneaky. And Draven's a player you don't really get to play in pro picks because you can just get so bodied and shut down that he's irrelevant late game. So whenever you see it, it's like a desperation, we have to win this series kind of pick.
But look at it this way, because he was playing Draven, but he had in front of him Braum, Maokai, Gragas, and Orianna were on that team. So there was just so much CC control, like, it was ridiculous. There was some clutch.
This comp is really kind of counterproductive a little bit, though, because Orianna and Braum want people to stack together, and Draven and Gragas want them to separate. So Draven and Gragas work really well together, simply because the fact Gragas knocks people apart, and you can go into these skirmishes that Draven's really good at, these like 1v2, 2v2 matches. And then, like, Orianna, Maokai, and Braum really want you to team fight grouped. So when you look at this comp, it's shit. But when it played out, they actually played it out really well.
And what's funny is the first game was definitely in Cloud9's favor. Second game, it turned around. Like, Liquid was on point. They're making good calls. They got fucking dragons early. Like, they were just doing really well. And then
something I want to point out too.
Just went right to hell.
So Team Liquid is. This team is probably the most stacked of talent players in North America, and they kept getting third place, and they got knocked out of Worlds in this Gauntlet tournament. This is the coach's fault. Coach Peter actually got Coach of the Year this year for some, I don't know why, like how you get Coach of the Year with having the best roster and still losing this many games. Coach of the Year should have probably went to Gravity, to be honest, for them to actually overperforming. This team is significantly underperforming. It's the coach's fault. Their draft is terrible. They let Piglet pick Vayne with comps that just don't match well with them. Vayne Braum is a terrible lane. Vayne Alistair, they did in the first game, great lane. They just had no synergy with the other picks in this one. They have no engage, really. Like, you have the Alistair engaged and that's it. Nautilus has to walk up and hit people. Like, Gragas, they need to first pick Gragas with Vayne, first of all. It's hard to play Vayne without Gragas because of what I said earlier. She works extremely well with Gragas. You kind of have to have that matchup. So their pick ban phase is terrible. They try to do this, like, Jugger Vayne comp, and I don't know.
Unless you're Cloud9 in Game 3, because they totally went Braum Vayne.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, there's some weird stuff going on there.
2 different games. That's what I'm saying. Vayne Alistair's good. But, like, all right, so Game 3, they do it again. They do, was it Game 3 or Game 4? Game 4, they do Braum Vayne, and then with Lulu. So they do the Jugger Vayne comp. Now, my problem with this is, if you're going to do this, I don't know what the bans were. I can't see them, but I'm assuming Kog'Maw was banned. If Kog'Maw's not banned here, you're dumb for not playing Kog'Maw on this comp. This is a Kog'Maw comp. You're supposed to play Braum with a range pick, not Vayne with short range. So they just got outpicked. Also, I don't know how you give Victor over in the last game of the series that you need to win, because Victor is just completely broken. You first pick that if you're going to not ban it.
Well, it's because the whole thing is they got played on with Orianna the game before. Like, really, like, Orianna, like, Incarnation's Orianna in Game 3 was really strong. So they early picked Orianna for Game 4, which means that they just left shit open, and they did. C9 didn't even think about it. Like as soon as it came up to the last,
ban both of it.
They just grabbed Victor and Scion, and that's what they went into it.
That's coaching messing up too, and like that sucks to the players because that is a clear coaching fault, and that's the biggest problem in North America right now is the coaches there suck, and they really need help. I'm really looking to Renegades next season because of the actual coaching staff.
And this is going to be Renegades' like debut season coming up. Yes, they have next
summer. Yeah, that team's
going to listen to Sticks.
They're like the chicken foot of League of Legends.
Me. By the way, Renegades, if you guys don't know, is Alex Each, Crumbs in the jungle. They're the two famous players. Remilia at supports, Maple Street at AD carry, and the top laner is R.
Well, we'll definitely see how that works out.
Who else is involved with that team?
Monte Cristo.
I haven't had one of those in a long time. All right, does that wrap it up for esports, Sean?
Yeah. Right.
More or less might wrap up the whole night.
Yeah, in fact it is. It is 9:01, so that means we're going to go ahead and shut it on down now. This has been GamePoints. Thank you for watching us. If you're watching us live, we do stream every Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thank you for joining us in chat. We had a couple people pop in. We're very talkative. We always enjoy... well, people watching us live. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can just type in GamePoints, one word PC, and we pop up there. Feel free to comment, leave a like, do all the other YouTube stuff that YouTubers love. I can't remember any of its terminology right now because I'm thinking about Metal Gear Solid. If you want to follow the show on Twitter, you can follow it at GamePointsPC. You can always email the show at GamePointsPC@gmail.com with any questions, comments, concerns. You can give us a like over at Facebook at the Game Points Podcast. If you want to follow us individually, I am Stephen Brown. You can follow me at CapitalistPig21. You can follow Sean Brand down there at Vidisco_King. He also occasionally streams every now and then. If you follow him on Twitch, you'll know when it goes live. Probably streaming tonight, it sounds like. Across from him is Pal Shife Satori, also known as David Smith. He doesn't tweet or really do anything. Now that I think about it.
Sleep.
Anyways, this has been GamePoints. Thanks for watching, and we are out of here.